area. A staggered junction is a place where two roads from opposite sides, one from the left and the other from the right, meet with the main road slightly offset by a short distance. Staggered junctions are found on two-way traffic roads. Motorists must slow down and be more careful while approaching these junctions, as vehicles might be approaching from left and right. This sign warns the motorists that there is a junction ahead where the traffic will merge into the road from the right side. Usually it is found on main roads where the traffic approaches from a side road. In this situation, motorists must slow down and be alert for the traffic. This sign warns drivers that the road is about to merge with the main road. Drivers must adjust the speed to merge with the mainstream traffic without disturbing them. This sign means that there is a two-way traffic on the road. This sign can be found commonly at the beginning of two-way traffic roads, where traffic is separated by only a line rather than a median or a barrier. Motorists need to drive carefully, position in the proper lane, and must look for the potential hazards. This sign warns that a two-way traffic road will cross the one-way traffic road ahead. This sign is found on one-way roads to warn that this road will terminate into a road where traffic is moving in both directions. Motorists must be prepared for the traffic approaching from both the directions and position properly to turn either left or right. This sign indicates that the dual carriageway will end ahead and continue as a single carriageway. Dual carriageway is a road on which traffic travels in both directions and is separated by a central median or divider. Single carriageway is a road on which traffic travels in both directions but is separated only by strips or a line. Motorists must adjust the speed and position in the proper lane. This sign warns that there is a curve in the road ahead to the right. This sign can be found before the curve of a road, usually in hilly areas. Motorists must reduce speed, control the vehicle, and avoid lane changing, overtaking, parking, and reversing on observing this sign. Motorists are also advised to position towards the left lane for better view. This sign warns that there is a curve in the road ahead to the left, and motorists must take precautions for the left curve. This sign warns the driver that there is a double bend ahead on the road. This symbol indicates that the first bend is to the left and then to the right. This symbol indicates that the first bend is to the right and then to the left. These symbols are found in hilly areas or on roads with bends. Motorists need to reduce their speed and must not overtake, change lane, park, stop, or reverse in these bends. This sign shows that right lane ends ahead. It is also used on multi-lane roads to warn you that your lane will not continue. Motorists must adjust the speed to change their lane towards the open lane without disturbing the traffic. This sign warns that the road is narrowing from the right side, which means that the width of the road will be reduced. It is found on the road where the road shoulder or the pavement is reduced. Motorists are advised to move to the left lane if they are present on the narrowing road or drive with extreme care. Here also the motorists must take the relevant precautions and drive with extreme care. This sign warns the drivers that the road is narrowing from both sides, which means that the width of the road is reduced. It is found on roads where the road median and the shoulder are reduced, resulting in the loss of a lane. Motorists are advised to adapt to the situation and refrain from driving parallel to the vehicle on their right or left. This sign warns that the left lane is closed ahead. If motorists are on the left lane, they should move to the right lane, and if they are already on the right lane, then they should be careful of the vehicle joining their lane from the left. This sign is found during a temporary situation. This sign warns that the right lane is closed ahead. Motorists must take precautions to deal with the situation accordingly. This sign represents a diversion to the opposite carriageway. This sign is typically used in temporary situations. It warns the motorists about the diversion of the traffic from one carriageway to the other. Motorists must slow down and look for the diversion on the road to pass through safely. This sign indicates that the passage along the street is blocked or prohibited. The No Through Road sign can be seen at parking areas, construction zones, and industrial areas. This sign is to warn that the road is ending ahead, and motorists must look for an alternative route. This sign indicates that there is a U-turn ahead. This sign can be seen on main roads and before traffic signals. If you intend to make a U-turn, you must position your vehicle in the appropriate lane. This sign warns that the road ahead is inclining. It is found in hilly areas. Motorists must avoid overtaking, lane changing, stopping, or parking in such areas. This sign warns that the road is declining ahead. This sign is also seen in hilly areas. It warns the motorists that the road is sloping ahead and that they must avoid overtaking, lane changing, parking, reversing, and stopping. It is also recommended to use the lower gear to control the speed. This sign warns the motorists about a pedestrian crossing ahead. It can be seen on main roads as well as on internal roads. Motorists must reduce the speed and give way to pedestrians. Moreover, avoid overspeeding, overtaking, and lane changing in such areas. This sign warns about children in the surroundings. It can be commonly seen near schools, residential areas, parks, and playgrounds. This sign indicates that children may be present nearby. Therefore, motorists must reduce their speed and take necessary precautions. This sign warns the motorists that there is a bicycle crossing ahead. Motorists are advised to reduce their speed and watch out for cyclists who might be crossing their track ahead. If cyclists are present, motorists must stop their vehicle and allow the cyclists to cross the road. The sign with the picture of an animal, such as a camel, warns road users that animals may be on the road. Sometimes the sign can also represent sheep or goats, depending on the locality. These signs can be seen near animal farms, outside city limits, or in mountain areas. Motorists must slow down when they see these signs and watch out for animals on the road. Leave enough space to allow for their unpredictable movements. Never use horn around animals. It may frighten them and cause them to run, which in turn can lead to a crash. This sign warns the road users to be cautious as roadworks is progressing. The sign is yellow in color and warns the road users of probable hazards. This sign is used in temporary situations and is often found where road maintenance or construction work is being carried out. Drivers must be prepared for the change in road conditions. They must reduce their speed, refrain from sounding horn, keep safe distance from the workers, barricades, and traffic cones. They also should not overtake in such areas. This sign displays the maximum height limit allowed for the vehicle to proceed further. This sign can be seen before flyovers that pass overhead, tunnels, and in basement parkings. It warns the vehicles that are taller than the mentioned height to refrain from entering the place. They have to use an alternate route to pass by. This sign warns the road users that there is a tunnel ahead. Motorists must take certain actions before entering the tunnel, such as check if the height and width limit allows the vehicle inside. Drive in an open lane indicated with green light. Use dippable lights for better visibility. Maintain the speed limit permitted for the tunnel. Avoid overtaking, parking, stopping, reversing, and sounding horn inside the tunnel. Remember, pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles carrying explosive materials are not allowed to use the tunnel. This sign warns motorists that an aircraft may be flying at low altitude. This sign with an aircraft symbol can be seen near airports. Motorists must not get distracted by the sight and sound of the aircraft. Stopping and photographing is prohibited in this area. This sign warns of a bridge which opens at intervals. The qualification plate attached to it will display the timings. It is posted at or before the bridge. Motorists will be informed in advance through the information sign whether that bridge is closed for traffic. This sign warns drivers that there is a riverbank ahead or the road is terminating at the water source. This sign can be seen near creeks and riverbanks. Motorists should avoid last-minute braking in these areas as the surface can be moist and slippery. If parking is permitted, park only parallel to the quayside or the riverbank. This sign alerts the driver that that there is a risk of falling rocks or other objects. It can be seen in hilly areas or near construction sites. Motorists should maintain safe distance from the hazard and be cautious while driving in these areas. They should also avoid parking nearby. This sign alerts the motorists about high voltage cables running overhead across the road. Motorists must check the height limit, avoid parking or stopping and loading or unloading their vehicles in such areas. This sign is used to warn the presence of a speed hump. It is used to force the motorists to slow down the speed of their vehicle, as there may be hazards like roundabouts, pedestrian crossings, or junctions. It is commonly found near residential, school, and park areas. Motorists need to slow down and cross the speed humps slowly. Roads are often uneven in certain areas. This sign is to warn motorists that the road surface is uneven. Motorists must slow down and avoid lane changing and overtaking in these areas. This sign warns motorists of other dangers ahead. Motorists may encounter different types of hazards that will be defined on attached supplementary signs such as high voltage cables, construction area, sharp turn, temporary hump, pedestrians or animals. Motorists must reduce their speed in such areas and be alert for the hazards. This sign warns of loose chippings, such as sand or gravel. This sign is typically found on temporary roads. Motorists must reduce their speed well in advance because loose chippings might fly and hit the pedestrians, other vehicles, or nearby property. Avoid hard braking to avoid skidding and losing control of the vehicle. Moreover, the traction might reduce in such areas, so maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front. This sign warns the motorists that the road is slippery ahead. It can be seen in hilly areas and near creeks. Motorists must reduce speed and avoid hard braking or sudden swerving. Moreover, as the vehicle can become unstable, maintain a safe space around the vehicle. Motorcyclists must take extra care because they are on two wheels. This sign warns the motorists that the material of the shoulders or verges are softer than they would be reasonably expected and may be a hazard to anyone wishing to pull off the roadway. It is located on the right side of the roadway well in advance of the soft surface. Motorists need to avoid driving in this area, and if it cannot be avoided due to an emergency, take care not to get stuck. This sign warns the road users that there is a tram route ahead and that trams may cross from right to left or from left to right. The qualification plate below the sign indicates further information, such as the direction to the tram track, distance to the tram track, or do not stop on the track. This sign is found in areas where tram is operated. This sign warns motorists that if they intend to turn right, they need to cross a tram route. A supplementary plate may be attached below the sign, indicating the distance to the tram route. Motorists need to be cautious while crossing the tram track. This sign warns motorists that if they intend to turn left, they need to cross a tram route. Motorists must take necessary precautions while crossing the tram or railway track. Now you will learn about the second type of warning signs, that is, the hazard marker signs. The hazard marker signs warn about physical hazards such as bridges, guardrails, or traffic islands. These signs are easily readable even at night as they reflect under vehicle headlights. These hazard plate signs are used to warn about bridge and guardrails. These signs can be found on major roads to alert the motorists to position their vehicle appropriately on the road. This sign is used to divert the traffic to pass either side from the traffic island. Hazard marker signs can be found at junctions, traffic signals, service roads, and at the beginning of slip lanes. Single chevron right sign indicates the change in direction of the road to the right. This marker is posted on rail guards and is used to indicate the sharpness of the curve. This sign is also used at the entry and exit ramps on major roads. Single chevron left sign indicates the change in direction of the road to the left. The multiple chevron right sign alerts the motorists to turn right. The multiple chevron right sign is commonly found on roads where there is a sharp deviation of the route to the right. The multiple chevron left sign alerts the motorists to turn left. This sign alerts the motorists to change their direction either to the right or to the left. This sign is found at T-junctions. This sign alerts road users that a single tram or a railway line is crossing the road. Motorists must be careful while crossing this area. This sign alerts that 2 or more tram or railway lines are crossing across the road. Now you will learn about the third type of warning signs, that is, diagrammatic warning signs. Diagrammatic warning signs are used when the triangle-shaped advanced warning signs do not hold enough space for the picture, or they are not big enough to draw the attention to the hazard ahead. These signs help the motorists to position the vehicle appropriately well in advance. Diagrammatic warning signs are mainly used on high-speed roads. This sign means that the right lane is closing ahead. Motorists must get prepared to enter the open lane. This sign warns the motorists that an additional lane will be added ahead. This sign is to warn motorists that the current 5 lanes will now merge into 4 lanes. Motorists in the merging lanes must be careful, as both lanes have equal allowance. This diagrammatic sign warns the heavy vehicle drivers that they are restricted from using the leftmost lane. This sign warns the motorists that the leftmost lane use is controlled. Motorists in this lane must turn left ahead. This sign warns the motorists that a median is beginning in the roadway ahead. Motorists must be careful with the central divider or median. This sign warns the motorists that the central reservation of the median is ending ahead. Motorists must be careful in this situation. Both these signs warn the motorists that a lane is joining ahead. It can be from the left, it can be from the right or the left, as shown on the sign. These diagrammatic warning signs warn the motorists on major roads about the sharp curve on lanes ahead. Motorists are advised to use the dedicated lane to complete the turn in a safe manner. This sign warns pedestrians that they are about to cross a tram track. They must look in both directions, to the right and the left, to ensure that no tram is approaching before crossing the tram route. This sign warns pedestrians that they are about to cross a tram track that travels in a single loop. The indicated arrows show the direction of the approaching tram. The pedestrians must ensure that no tram is approaching before crossing the tram route.